Hey there, first graders. It's Miss Glass, and we're going to do a lesson on a different app today. The lesson that we're going to do today goes with the story, The Dust Bowl, written by Rachel Zindler. And this is a lesson with me, Miss Glass. First, I need to give a big shout out to my blue owls and my green birds. I've been talking to you guys on the phone, and I keep hearing about the excellent work that you're doing. A lot of you have been posting things to Class Dojo. I love seeing the work that you're doing at home. I've got to give a super extra very big shout out to our girl Iviana. Her mama told me I could give her a shout out today because when I talked to Iviana this morning, she told me all about the work she's been doing at home. So let's take a look at the goals of today's lesson. You can read along with me if you can. I can read words with blends and suffixes. The suffixes that we know are s, ing, and ed. I can learn new vocabulary words. Finally, I can listen to a text, talk about it, and answer questions about it. So let's give it a try. Take a look at this word. It's got a blend at the end. Did you say lift? I bet you did. What happens if I add a suffix? Lifts, lifting, lifted. Nice work. Let's try some more. You read first, and then I will tell you if you've got it right. Blast. Two blends in there. Whew. Blasts. Blasting. Blasted. Nice work, guys. Try some more. Plant. Plants. Planting. Planted. Great job, my friends. You always do a great job in your reading. Now, if you'd like to, you can pause the video here and read all of those words. See if you can go as fast as you can. When you're ready, we'll move on. Well, here's some of the vocabulary words that you need for today's lesson. The first word is vast. Something that is vast is very big. So big that it seems to go on forever. So here are some things that are vast. The ocean is vast. When you stand on the beach and look out over the ocean, it looks like the ocean never ends. It's vast. Outer space is vast. It just goes on and on and on and on. A hurricane is vast. If you were standing on the ground and looking up, it would seem like that hurricane cloud goes on just forever. These are things that are vast. Now, some things are big, but they are not vast. We use vast to mean something that is the very, very biggest. An elephant is big, but it's not vast. Our school is pretty big, but it's not vast. Mr. Cooper is way bigger than me and all of you, but he's not vast either. Get the idea? Let's try another one. Graze. We say that animals that eat grass graze. Here are some animals that graze. These cows are grazing in the field. These horses graze. They eat the grass too. And these little sheep are grazing as well. Can you think of any other animals that graze? Let's do one more word. Crops. Crops are plants that farmers grow for food. Here are some crops that you can find growing on farms in Ohio. Corn. Seriously, guys, if you drive up the highway, you will see corn, corn, corn to your left, corn to your right, corn up ahead, corn behind you, corn. Squash, pumpkins, those are crops that we grow too. Even tomatoes. Tomatoes are crops that you could find on a farm. These words are going to help you to understand the story today. The text that I'm going to read to you is called The Dust Bowl. By the end of this book, you should be able to answer these questions. What was the Dust Bowl? How did people cause it? And how did people fix it? Hey guys, we're going to take a look at this text called The Dust Bowl. Remember that your goals are to figure out what the Dust Bowl is, why it happened, what caused it, and how people fixed it. As you're looking at the cover, take a look and think about what you notice and what you wonder. I'm going to start out today. I notice that the picture is black and white and gray. I wonder why there's no color. What about you? What do you notice and wonder? Before we start, I want to tell you something about the pictures in this book. Before we left on this extended vacation, we learned about sources. We learned that a source is a thing or a person that can give you information about something. Well, the pictures in this text are sources. They're actually really special. They're called primary sources. Primary sources are things that come from an event. All of the pictures in this book are photos that were taken during the Dust Bowl. And there's no color because these are old photos. They hadn't invented color photography yet. So as I'm reading, see if you can listen for our vocabulary words that we just learned. And keep thinking about how people caused this mess and how they cleaned it up. Long ago, vast waves of dust tore over many states. Wind blasted dirt over the land. Dust hid the sun. Homes were buried. Crops were lost. We call that time the Dust Bowl. We call those storms dust storms. Let me give you a close look at these pictures. Here's a text feature that we know, a heading, Before the Dust Bowl. So you should be thinking, oh, now we're going to learn what happened before this Dust Bowl. Farmers came to these states to get more land, but many did not know how to take care of it. The states are Colorado, Kansas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Texas. The caption says, the Dust Bowl was the name for the area where dust storms hit most. Later, it also became the name of that time during the 1930s. They dug up plants that held the soil in place. They let animals graze on the same grass for too long. There was no rain for a long time. The land got dry and bare. Some of you are thinking, bare? What? This word, B-A-R-E, isn't the kind of bear that you would find in a forest that would say grrr. This bare means that there was nothing on it. Like when you go outside in bare feet in the summer, no shoes on. Keep listening. Life in the Dust Bowl. Then dust storms came. Strong winds lifted up the soil. Take a look at this photo, guys. These aren't storm clouds like we see in Ohio. This isn't rain. That's dust in the air. Whoa. Dust would whip over the land like a wall of tiny stones. It went everywhere. Crops and animals could not survive. Some storms left piles of dust like drifts of snow. They were called black blizzards. Hey, take a look right here, guys. That's a car buried there, a really old car. That's a car buried in dust. Times were hard. Farmers could not make money. They got sick from the thick, dusty air. Many lost jobs. Many left their homes for other states. The Dust Bowl ends. It took a long time for life to get better. Farmers had to try other ways to plant crops. They let animals graze in a mix of spots. Many people got jobs planting trees. The strong roots held the soil down. Then the rain came back. The damp dirt could not blow about as much. Walls of trees would block the wind. The Dust Bowl was over at last. About dust storms. A dust storm takes shape when big gusts of wind hit flat, dry land. The air drives down fast. It lifts small rocks and dust into the sky. The wind blasts the dust from one spot to another. This shows you how it forms. And I always read you the author's note. Throughout the 1930s, dust storms raged across parts of the United States. Two of the storms were particularly fierce. On May 11, 1934, one storm blew all the way from Montana to Massachusetts. That's a really big distance. It covered New York City with dust. The cloud of dust was 300 miles wide and reached thousands of feet high. The dust darkened the sky and sent many people to the hospital. Almost a year later in Oklahoma, April 14th began bright and clear. In the afternoon, a wall of dust roared into the state. Soon the day was dark as night. An eyewitness reported he could not see his hand held in front of his face. The storm was 1,000 miles long and lasted for hours. It was one of the worst storms of the Dust Bowl. Take a look at that picture. All right, guys, so here's your job. You should be thinking about what the Dust Bowl was, how people caused it, and what people had to do to fix it. Something to think about. We've talked a whole lot in my class about how the indigenous people of this country, of this continent, the people who were here first, they knew how to take care of the land. It's just some food for thought. Now, get ready. There's going to be a Kahoot about this. And if you like this new format that I'm using, let me know. I'll see you guys soon. I miss you. I love you.